time lap record. He was pole here last year, he couldn't carry it off. The 21-year-old having to wait now. Go Bagnaia, the 23-year-old. So best Ducati for him in front of Jack Miller, also on the second row of the grid. And then Pole now up from the third row of the grid to the second row of the grid. Pole Espargaro on the KTM. The 29-year-old will join his work for them. Big deal here is not letting Marquez bolt from the lights.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a lot of development. One thing I have noticed is the Yamahas are still slow on top speed. They're about 10 kilometers down. Can lap as fast as Marc Marquez, but can they race against him? Because as I see it, it looks like Marquez and that Honda will have enough.
Like one that's a great handling motorcycle, but once you've stuffed it up the inside and mired that man's position in the corner, you got the job done. Come alive, it is 25 laps, 68.7 miles of MotoGP. The season starts here at Jerez, and we go down to again. So Maverick Vinales manages to hold it through turns two. You know that Marc Marquez is going to...
Following a rider, your front tyre can easily overheat, obviously, in these really hot conditions. So I think that's why we're going to see Marquez.
Look at that Pramac bike, it looks an absolute star. So through it, it's gone into third place. Miller has had good pace all weekend as well. We figured heat of speed when you tap the power in.
Exactly.
Nightmare to ride.
And it's Vinales sometimes does take a lap to get into his rhythm, even though it's
to push it up the inside of Vinales. He didn't. On the front straight here. Now then, Marquez almost looks like he's playing a slightly waiting game over Vinales.
You see Quartaro.
But that comes back down to what we were talking about right at the beginning of this. The Yamaha maybe not quite as sharp in a straight...
5 places. I tell you what, there is no one more aggressive on the first laps. You watch Bradley Smith into turn 1 at any racetrack, he's very, very...
As we might have expected, but Bradley Smith, race pace, is looking good at the minute. Good point finish for Bradley. Will do his... thought that was going to be another pass by Pecco Bagnaia. So the 63, out has gone Joan Mir. That's not the start Suzuki wanted at all, is it? Oh, here we go. Up the inside of Maverick. So through goes Marc Marquez, and Maverick comes straight back at him. That's what we wanted to see from Maverick Vinales. Elbows out, boys. Maverick Vinales, if he's in that kind of mood, that bodes real well for this season.
Exactly. It's one of his own.
Now, whether the Yamaha is able to stay with that Honda, this was the problem. As soon as you get Marc Marquez out in front, I say a problem. It's not a problem if you're...
Well, yeah, he has. What's interesting, Matt, so everybody's got the same tyres, and this is going to get tight. He's going to have a go.
Go on, Maverick, up the inside of the...
Turn on the last corner.
Turn 10 for Aleix. And
off front, everybody else has gone for the hard, and Rossi's on the soft front. Now, the problem with running that soft front is what I said earlier. If
they're spreading out just a little bit, but it's that man Marc Marquez that usually causes that problem. He is now into his rhythm. Unless he makes a mistake.
He looks angry, he looks determined, and I think he really wants to squash anyone's confidence. He wants to destroy them. So
across the line into the braking area at turn 1. Marquez had good race pace as well. Did you see the
ones what we saw yesterday, similar track temperature, and he's got nobody.
Lost it for a week. Took to the dirt.
Marquez tries, this is what I always feel. Marquez is always on the limit, so if he tries a bit harder, he's a bit more determined, he puts himself in the danger.
Yeah, Marc Marquez has got a huge record for crashing. And then I had a little thought to myself, I wonder if they ought to add another column there, the crashes that you...
Look at him, he's missed the apex by a mile at turn 1, he missed the apex by a mile then at turn 2.
Mind you, it's probably a good thing for the team if he goes round. He'll be mad with himself after that mistake, because this one was, by his standards, once he started Grand Prix-wise, MotoGP, this is the first round, obviously, this year. 20 years, 340...
Weather races.
Yep. Quartaro lining himself up. He's going, just if he could have squared that off, but Quartaro was quite clever. He got it to the apex and it blocked Jack off from just tapping the... So Marc Marquez, let's have another look at it. So the front had gone, got his right leg up in the air, took to...
You're completely wrong, basically. And rightly so. A rookie in... Oh, it's gone down. He's in 7th place. Brad Binder, first ever MotoGP race on a
KTM track, but he rode brilliantly here. There's Pole Espargaro on the other KTM.
He's actually just dropped right down.
Yeah, I was going to say, where's he gone, Brad Binder?
Place, he's dropped right back.
I thought by now you two have got your communication channel sorted. We're working together.
A strong position, you feel good. You've now got to have a word with yourself. It's this point in the race. There's 18 laps to go, and it's like, right.
For his first ever race win.
Yeah, Maverick's made a mistake, basically.
Yeah,
he had, well, over 3.
One thing about Vinales, he's got good late race pace.
Yeah, he has.
Something he's always had, so if Quartaro is going to do anything about it, roll out the throttle then, I thought Iquano was going to hit him.
So Marquez is how many seconds? Tips in, does he lose the front?
Show it. He's done something.
Jack Miller, fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Miller, if anything, there was a big bold underlining now. Factory Ducati rockiness, but certainly, I don't know, they don't seem to really want to go the extra bit.
Personalities. What is strange?
Oh, hang on, Mav. Straight on he goes. Well, he got that on a hop, skip and a jump on the brakes.
Incredible. That's that from time.
Yeah, he was going for the long loop at that particular point. Looking back at Petrucci now, who's going to be the next one in the Marc Marquez target of recovery. Quona, and there goes Marc right underneath Danilo Petrucci. Petrucci has dropped to third. Quartaro moves up to the factory Yamaha team next year, replaces Rossi. Rossi comes back to Petronas the way he wants. Maybe he will retire this year.
Look at this. Yeah, look. What happens there? He's gone all the way. The back's come round. He's gone all the way to...
Because Valentino wants to bring his whole team, and the Petronas team are a real team. They're a real group of people that stick together.
Can you imagine how thick the contract would be on image rights? You know what I mean? Just that alone. So, yeah, the complex...
Sorry, mate. He had a bedroom full of his own for a long time.
That's as good as we've seen the KTM in complete normal dry conditions.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it lasts through the entire... In 8th place, Miguel Oliveira in 9th. 10th is now Marquez, having dropped Petrucci. But French haven't had to wait quite so long, but it's still a massive, we're talking decades, for Fabio Quartararo. He should have won. He was the only man in the 38s at the end of the last lap. Fabio Quartararo looking very good. I'll just check. Plus, he's going to use up his tyres.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to go down.
Oh, that was it.
Which he would definitely take
if he doesn't do it again. It's a very short season as well. I mean, that's another problem. You've got Tech 3 KTM, Hervé Poncharal, Ecoulon's team.
What I was going to say, what Marquez needs if he wants any chance to get really close to the front is for Miller to catch Quartaro on
our overhead camera. 6/10 the gap back from Miller to Vinales. It's all about whether Ducatis compared with the factory ones.
Yeah, impressive, isn't it?
It is massively impressive.
I think Bagnaia is on the
time of the day will have gone up by another 5 degrees possibly by now. It's what we're usually into 55, 56 degrees at this time of the year with the motorbike. It's not shake, rattle and roll. There's Paul Espargaro on Andrea Dovizioso. His shoulder.
I'll tell you what, Dovi's hard to pass because he is the king of the drag strip. He uses the power of that bike, but he's the last of the...
Neither is it in a straight line.
And that's Marquez in the background of this group now. So his next person is Frankie Morbidelli. Who
was in front of him. Well, this MotoGP hasn't really got control of this now, hasn't he?
Yeah, the elastic band snapped now. He's on his way, isn't he?
It's going to be Vinales. It's going to be... Sad to see Rossi not being able to fight here. It's got to be...
Mark is on his way. What is he? So he's 7.3 seconds off the lead, but he's catching the group.
Well, he's 38.7, 38.8, 38.8. Brilliant. Absolutely just tick, 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 lap.
Sat in second place at the time. Here we go. We're going to see Marquez now in the background.
Massive points on the table still for Marquez, considering he's gone via the sandpit.
Into push now, obviously on the absolute limit, and we've seen what that can do. So
we're down now, isn't he? He's all but there. One thing about this kid is he never gives up. Marquez did a 38.5, so there's only 2/10 in it. Quartararo is riding very calmly. When he broke that lap record, the out one suits him. It might not be the fastest motorbike out there in a straight line, but it's certainly a motorbike that he rides very, very...
Could even get second here.
Here he is, right on the back of these two now.
Imagine, right? Imagine. So you Fabio Quartaro thought, well, that's him out of the way. Yeah, he'll be like, well, loads of them must have crashed.
Right on Morbidelli now, Marquez. Morbidelli's looking at the inside of Bagnaia, but Marquez is looking to scoop the pair. That's Morbidelli done. Oh, he had to give him a bit of help. Oh, and at the same time, Bagnaia ran it a little wide as well.
Can't hesitate behind anybody.
Got to go for it straight away. Morbidelli's followed through as well, got to Bagnaia. So Morbidelli...
With the graphics, but this one...
Well, basically...
Like, get someone explain what's going on with those graphics.
The next corner is a right-hander.
Yeah, well,
and, if the curve's on the right-hand side of the line,
sorry,
if they're on the left-hand side, then it's...
So Marquez is about to pass his new teammate.
And I wouldn't be surprised that he is getting an indication back to Marquez anyway on his board, just to let him know where it all is. Bagnaia is back there as well.
Do you know what, Jack Miller's form has been incredible. The last 3 races...
When we first saw him back, he looked like he got a little bit little bit more bark on him, perhaps, because he'd had a bit more...
Don't you on that Ducati? Dovizioso's like that.
And that might have made the difference, because he's done a lot of off-road stuff, unlike Dovi. Mechanical. Wow, Valentino Rossi goes from bad to worse for him.
He might actually have to try and do it somewhere else where Dovi's not expecting it. You know, in straight line braking, he's very, very hard to pass.
Well, the Ducati's down into the braking area.
Yeah.
He cuts inside Dovi.
Good move.
Was a good move, actually. Yeah, that was it. They'll be doing the sums.
If he can get second place,
he's going
to. Yeah.
He's going. Vinales has got Miller. Was that a mistake by Miller somewhere, or maybe his tyre is going?
Yeah, Miller did a 1:40 on that lap, Keith, so it was a big...
They're all queuing up behind Vinales now. Vinales could go, well off the podium here. Wait for it. There goes Mark. Miller back a place. Mark goes through.
It's just carbon copy every
time. Good boy.
That is what Ducati want to see.
Yeah, that's Domenicali loves it, and that's what they get. Because that's the word I'm looking for. Dismissive of Dovi's fighting spirit. Yeah. Maverick Vinales already away, 5 seconds now in front is Fabio Quartararo. So Quartararo, all barring a mechanical or
Oh, it's not done yet.
No, I mean that's the way I kind of feel about it. It's a tricky one, isn't it, really?
Anything will happen.
You want it to happen. So Valentino Rossi parked by the side of the track, out of this race. Cal Crutchlow out through injury. Alex Rins out through injury. But right behind Maverick Vinales. Oh, that Honda's beginning to look loose, even on the overrun into the turns. It looked loose, and it was loose. Has he hurt himself? So Marquez has crashed massively there. 2 that looked loose, and then we got to 3 and it let him go to space and back. Goes Marquez, and he gets a punch off the Repsol Honda as well. Wow. He was on to equal Mick
can't lift his arms
run
up because he wants him to undo his helmet.
You want to win it with Marc Marquez and Valentino Rossi in it. And so
that,
Quartararo then back to 4.8 seconds now. He's rolling the race because he's been asking so much for it to get past other riders.
So interestingly now it's a battle for the pole tyres. Yeah, exactly.
It rolls around like you're on wet tyres. All the rubber starts to squidge around. So 2 laps to go then. Dovizioso, and as you've been beating the drum all the way through this, it's going to be a right interesting one between the factory Ducati men.
And it's a nice feeling knowing that after round 1 he's on 0 points.
Well, Marquez was always going to be the man for the season, more by luck than judgment, I have to say.
And do you know what? Miller, he was having a fantastic race. Won't have seen Dovi won.
Let's have another look at this. So Dovi goes through, and again, coming back to the line. We've seen that so many times just there, haven't we? At Ducati. That's bad.
This is not good at all.
He's got his neck in a brace if it's gone after all the work he's had done on it.
Do you know what? Everybody, every expert, every ex-world champion, like he's going to go on and smash every record if he doesn't get injured. But the problem is you can't crash Keith as many times as we've seen him do throughout.
This will be their biggest win ever. Fabio Quartararo, it will be his biggest win too. That's Razlan. Strides for the line. The French have waited for a French winner, but they won't have to wait any longer because Fabio Quartararo wins the Spanish Grand Prix. Johan Stiggerfeldt jumps around as well. John McPhee will be joining in with the celebration. Jake Dixon as well, who didn't have brilliant stuff from Fabio Quartararo, and this was what we missed as he crossed the line. It's under the
space. That's the airbag. The airbag's gone already.
In one was under because he knew that Fabio Quartararo could take it to him.
Yeah.
So Absolutely. It is Fabio Quartararo.